webisode is brought to you by Paradise Springs Winery, Washington, D.C.'s closest winery in Fairfax County, Virginia. www.paradisespringswinery.com.
I'm Pamela, and tonight, unfortunately, Abong is not with us, but we are honored to have a guest host.
Thank you all so much for having me, Chandler Ramelli.
And I'm Kate.
And tonight we're dishing with you from Banana Cafe at 508th Street Northeast, right on Capitol Hill.
No, we've made that mistake, unfortunately, twice this week.
Southeast?
We're actually in Southeast, but we're right on the line, and we're very close to Eastern Market.
Yes.
You can take the metro, you can drive here, there's plenty of parking.
It's very
and
convenient.
There is an incredible piano bar and all kinds of Cuban and Mexican and fun food and music and salsa, so we recommend it highly.
And we're across the street from the Marine Barracks, so you can soldier watch if you want.
Which is also pretty fun at the piano bar upstairs.
Yes, exactly.
We're here to introduce Kirk Wiles from Paradise Springs Winery from Fairfax County. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, since we're not a state, we are one of the 11th largest producers of wine in the United States. How did you get started in this, and where are you going?
It was actually about 20 years ago. My great aunt and my mother came up with an idea that we had this old cabin property that we needed to do something with it, and they thought that it was a perfect setting for Virginia Farm Winery. And back then, wineries in Virginia really had no notoriety. They, were making terrible wines. The technology wasn't up to date. So, my great aunt passed away 4 years ago and left this property to us. And we kind of brainstormed and said, what can we do with this place? And kind of took the reins with it and put together a business plan, and here we are today. So.
Now, you say makes a good wine. What makes a good wine? Or you said doesn't make good wine. I don't know exactly.
The technology in winemaking has really advanced, and while Virginia's climate is conducive to growing grapes, in the past it always had problems with the humidity and certain things, and now with certain pesticides and processes that are in place and the study of it, coming along, Virginia's actually able to make a very good wine. I think people will be very surprised about the quality.
It's less challenging than it had been in the past.
Yes.
But something about the soil, right? Soil helps you make good grapes?
It all starts with the soil. It really does. There's a lot of factors that go into it. It starts with the soil. There's an old saying, from vine to wine. So it really does start with good soil. And actually in Virginia here, we really do have some incredible soils that people are taking advantage of, all the way from the eastern shore where they're growing grapes with more of a sandy type, and all the way into the Shenandoah Mountains.
Well, I am a huge wine lover. I mean, any time that I can possibly go to a winery and taste and buy cases and cases, I do, whether it's in California or other places. And I've gone to a couple of different wineries in Virginia. But were you always a huge wine drinker? I mean, because you have to have a love and a passion for wine.
I was. I always appreciated it. I really did. And I think coming back here and after college and kind of going out and seeing the actual Virginia wineries that are around here, because it's really an experience to go out and see the actual grapes growing in the ground next door, and then go inside and see the process. I think you become more, you fall in love with it. And
what's the process?
You gotta go to Paradise Springs.
Yeah, you gotta come out.
Check it out.
You gotta come out and check it out.
Can we get a bus together? Can we come over, maybe an RV, because after I have a lot of wine, I'd like to, sleep it off, take a little nap, start again.
Can we camp out?
Exactly. Now, do you have any tours that we could do?
We do tours.
Cool.
We don't like to have big tour buses come through. We want to do smaller, more intimate experiences.
Dreams deferred.
It was just the three of us.
Absolutely.
Maybe next year.
You said you had a cabin. We could just stay there.
Absolutely. Well, we're scheduled to open our tasting room mid-May.
Okay.
So we're still kind of ramping up. We're getting everything together. Everything's coming along well. We're currently in the process of bottling some of our wines. We have 3 out right now. We're bottling one on Friday.
What do we have here?
We have our
have some
Sauvignon
tonight.
Blanc. We actually bottled this about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And then we have our 2007 Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon, which we bottled end of November. And that was actually our only wine from 07 harvest. It sat in American oak for 13 months, and we just bottled it in November. So.
And it's actually being sold a couple of places here in the district.
It is. Right now we have it at City Tavern Club and at Sesto Senso. And we have plans to get it out to many more restaurants. So.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to get to taste it, right?
Yeah,
we are.
Cheers.
Cheers. I to admit, I
To
cheated
Paradise Springs
before.
Winery.
It is really good.
I've already cheated.
Well, I didn't cheat, so that was
very
actually my
good.
first taste. And red
Great.
wine is my favorite. I like strong reds, and that is a very strong, good red.
It is very good.
I like
And it's
it.
a reserve. So what is the difference?
still
How do
clean.
you tell us about the difference between reserve and just a normal?
The reserve we consider in Virginia to sit on barrel over 10 months.
Okay.
So kind of younger reds will sit for 6 to 8 months, and anything over 10 we'll call a reserve here in Virginia. So just a little more aging in the process. Let time set its course.
Oh, sorry.
My favorite I Love Lucy episode is the episode where she's in the great big barrel and she's stepping on all of the grapes. And I asked about the process because I was hoping you would tell me that actually happens. Does anybody get to do that?
It is still done, and actually one of our plans is to offer that in the fall and harvest. We're going to have grape stomping competitions and hopefully bracket
I
off.
smell
There
road
you
trip.
go.
I smell
Can we go stomp the grapes?
Absolutely, when we set it up, yeah.
Get excited, we're stomping grapes and we may bring you with us.
I smell road trip.
That sounds like a great district dish event.
I think so.
Let's set it up.
I love it.
What are you going to do to tell us when the May tasting opens?
We're looking at mid-May.
Put
We
it on
haven't
the
firmed up a
website.
date yet, but yeah, our website, www.paradisespringswinery.com. And we have a mailing list you can sign up for. And we'll keep updating the website as well.
And you're really good about getting the word out on Facebook and communicating and yeah, you're doing a good job at marketing it.
But your winery has a really, it has a distinction, which I didn't, you're the only winery in Fairfax County, right? The
We
only
are
one.
only one, and we'll actually be the closest to Washington, D.C. So, whereas people from the city, had to drive an hour and a half to a
Right.
winery, you can now drive 35 minutes. So it really cuts down the driving time if you want to come out and experience, what a winery is.
Otherwise, it'd have to be going out to Polo Country.
The only one I can think of is Washington over at Monticello. We just, or Mount Vernon.
right.
Mount Vernon,
right.
we just did his whiskey. That's whiskey, not wine, but they put up the distillery there. So you would be the only wine, we would be the only whiskey.
Whiskey,
There you go.
wine, we like them both. But Pamela mentioned that we'd be going out to Polo Country, and
There you
Kirk,
go.
we know that you play polo too.
I do. Play with First Chucker here in DC, and it's a great event, great sport, and really love to just get out and escape the city and ride
Any
horses.
kind of connection between horseback riders, polo players, wine? Is this a country thing?
I don't know.
Country thing in the city?
I'm just
Drink a
having
lot of
fun.
wine before you get on the polo horses?
No, after though, after.
Good.
Now we're just having fun. We're looking forward to the season starting soon. So if there are any new riders out there, people want to know,
That's
get in
awesome.
touch, and we'd love to have beginners out and teach them the game.
That's great. That's great.
It's a pretty fun sport I know absolutely nothing about. Absolutely nothing. But we'll have to learn more about it.
We dust off the horses, spray down the boats. I'm
What?
ready
Sounds
for
like another
spray.
dish.
One
We can
time
teach
they
you.
allowed me to come out and throw the first thing, and I threw it like a baseball. I had no idea how you were supposed to throw a thing. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I think there's like video of me doing that. I was so embarrassed. We're going to talk about some events that are happening this week, some pretty
Right,
fun
real
events.
quickly.
We had already mentioned Fashion for Paws, which was very exciting. We had Tara on, but on the same night is Artini, and you're actually on the host committee for Artini.
I am. Matt Donahue, Barbara Morello, and my wonderful girlfriends at Corcoran. I started out going to Corcoran Art School when I was very, very young.
What's Artini, though?
Artini, it is actually really cool. It's still going on through this week, and I have up the schedule on my blog, and Not So Capital Idea. 12 different bars are competing for who has the best Artini. So what we did was we gave them all paintings, said sit down, think about how this painting makes you feel. Probably would help if you had a couple, and then think about that.
Right.
Make that into a martini.
That's
I
brilliant.
didn't know that there was a whole feeling along with. I thought you just created
It's the
your best
art
one.
and the art
So-
and the wine.
Kirk, thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you guys
us.
for having me. It was great.
We have not only enjoyed the dish, but also the glass.
Yes,
Thanks so much.
absolutely,
Cheers. And
absolutely.
thanks for toasting with us, and come back on Wednesday for a new episode of The District Dish.